and welcome to Cut It With a Hammer. In today's episode, we're going to make what is known in the slider circles as a Fritz and Franz. What's a Fritz and Franz, you might ask? Well, it's not like a Hans and Franz because I'm not going to pump you up. If you don't get that, Google it. What a Fritz and Franz is a jig to help you hold small pieces while cutting on the table saw. And I'll show you how it works. This one I made just as soon as I got my table saw, and I will show you the basic pieces and then we will build a new one. Okay, a Fritz and Franz is made of two pieces. I don't know which one is Fritz and which one's Franz, but the names are not important. But basically, they're a piece of wood, plywood with usually a hardwood edge, and then a runner that slips down into the slot on your sliding table saw. And then you can use that to hold small pieces while you run it through the blade. So this is a very basic one. It has no measurement capability, and so we're going to make a new one that does. Let's get started. So for my new Fritz and Franz, we're going to start off with a piece of plywood that's 12 inches by 11.5 roughly. A piece of maple, which is going to be the part that goes along against the blade. I've got a piece of paduk for the runner. And then I've got some more plywood that I'm going to use to build up the surface to make it flush with the rail, which I'm going to cut in half. I have not decided what I'm going to do for the stop blocks yet. We'll think about that. I'm toying around with picking up some angled aluminum or making a set out of wood. So here I'm measuring up the paduk this runner to see how I need to cut it off, and it's a little high on one end, so we're just going to run it through the drum sander a bunch of times. I really like this tool. It was one of my more recent tool purchases. It's kind of a luxury. You don't have to have one, but if you're just trimming up a little bit, it sure is nice. And here the runner fits perfectly right in the 11mm slot. Doesn't fall through. Must be good. Now I'm cutting slots in the plywood and the hardwood using the shaper. And it looks like things line up pretty close, so I'm going to cut a little spline to put in that slot. Off camera I did have to sand it down just a little bit to make it fit. And here you see I have a type of a bridge clamp for holding down the piece because it's so long. And here we are gluing the hardwood to the plywood with the spline. Trying to be careful not to have it stick out on one end because it's very hard to cut it square once you've done that. And the clamps, I got the wrong clamps, so you won't see me use these clamps. I'll use some cabinet clamps. And I probably should have put another piece of wood on the hardwood side because it kind of made the hardwood tip a little bit up against the plywood. But in the end, it didn't make a difference. So here we are. We are going to square up the jig. First we're going to cut the face that's normally going to go up against the saw blade. And then here I'm just going to start trimming the other three sides. And here I'm going to put together a dado stack. I couldn't get an angle on the height adjustment or height gauge so you could actually read it. I tried a few times, but sorry. But we were shooting for that 11mm. And here I'm measuring how far the slot is from the blade. I'm not measuring to the teeth because I want to be able to trim off a little bit more of the hardwood to make it a perfect fit. I'll cut the dado. fits. It's just slightly loose, unfortunately. So here I'm going to cut it. So I have two pieces, a Fritz and a Franz. And cut a little strip of Paduke. And here we're going to go ahead and glue the runners in the slot, and I'm going to pull them a little bit away from the edge up against the blade just to try and make sure they're both situated squarely on the potato slot. That's where we're going to leave it today. We'll let the glue dry on that, and then we will finish up making the Fritz and Franz in the next episode, and we'll show you how it works a little bit. And so if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of this type of content. Leave a comment if you so desire. Ask a question, and we'll see you in the next video.